Welcome to the K-Files. Thank you for joining us today. We have JP with us. Good morning, JP.
Good morning,
my
Miss Angela.
partner in crime, you might say. And this morning we have Lieutenant Tender with us from the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office.
Good morning.
So glad you're here. Good
Yes, ma'am.
morning. We're going to talk about some ongoing unsolved murders this morning. So which one are we going to do first,
We're talking about Jewelry Redmond.
Okay.
Jewelry Redmond on April 13th of 2022 at 5:27 a.m. We got a phone call to respond to a house where a shooting had just occurred. It was a drive-by shooting. When we get there, we find Miss Redmond deceased at the scene from a gunshot wound. She was actually getting ready for work, and a car drove by and shot the house up. So, where it happened was at 64 Alternate and Ellis Road. It was actually on Ellis Road, but it was probably 3 or 4 tenths of a mile from 64 Alternate. It's about 5:30 in the morning. That's the only information we have. If anybody was riding in that area a year ago and you saw something you might think is important, please reach out to us. You can call the
Lieutenant,
Sheriff's Office.
do y'all feel like that was, and you don't have to answer, we tell all of our law enforcement, you don't have to answer. We don't want to compromise any cases here. Do you feel like she was targeted?
I do not believe she was targeted. That's all I'll say.
You don't believe she was targeted?
Correct.
Okay.
That might
thing.
answer your question.
Wrong
In a
place.
roundabout.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
Correct.
Wow. That is so sad. And how old was she?
Jewelry was, I'm not sure, I don't have her date of birth on me
Okay.
right now. She was in her 20s.
Okay, wow, young. So tell us exactly, okay, US 64 Alternate, where exactly is Ellis Road, in case anybody would remember anything in that
It is in the
area.
Mildred area. If you're going 64 Alternate and you're leaving Princeville and you're going towards Caneta, it is about halfway between Princeville and Caneta.
Okay.
It's called the Mildred Community.
Okay,
It's near Mildred Church.
okay, and I do know where that is from working Tarboro area sometimes, but so now, when did this happen exactly?
It happened on April 13th of 2022, so we're going on almost a year right now of this homicide.
Folks, if anybody knows anything about this, we have $15,000 in our pot, and you could get up to $15,000 for your tip if it leads to an arrest. So if you know anything, it would behoove you to come forward, because we want to pay out. Believe me.
Yes,
and
we do.
you're on the cold case board.
Yes, ma'am.
We do want to pay these dollars out. We have fundraisers. We raise money, replenish the pot, because we have solved 3 cases and we would like to pay out. So if you know anything, the number is 406-6736, or the number is, what other number can
252-641-7911. And I can speak from experience because one of those payouts is in one of my homicide cases. So I know they pay out.
Yes. And we pay within like 48 hours.
Yes, ma'am. It was
and,
quick.
And we pay cash.
Yes.
Who doesn't want cash?
Everybody wants cash.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you know anything about Jewelry Redmond's case, if you know anything about this shooting, it is anonymous, folks. We're not going to tell who you are. We're not going to know who you are. So please, it is anonymous, and we ask you to please call. Okay, the next case you want to talk about?
It's Harold Gamble, and I know you're familiar with that one. On June 1st of 2021, he lived it happened at Jabez Court, and that is off of Kingsborough Road, and that is probably within a half a mile of the old QVC plant.
Okay.
So not many people are going to know what Jabez Court is, but everybody's going to know where Kingsborough Road is and QVC plant.
And from what I understood from you the last time we talked about this, it's kind of off the road?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it kind of off the road?
It's probably 300 or 400 yards down a path on the
Okay.
right-hand side.
Okay.
We had witnesses that saw 2 subjects running from the scene. If anybody, that's a heavily traveled road, especially that time when it happened. It happened at 4 o'clock, so you got people that are leaving QVC that at that time of day you had shift change. So there's plenty of traffic out there, and if you saw something and I know it's been almost 2 years now, but maybe something caught your attention and you might have information for us.
Right, exactly. And the same drill goes for this case. It will be anonymous. Call the Sheriff's Office at 641-7911.
Yes, ma'am.
7911. and you can speak to Lieutenant Tender, or he will patch you through to whoever is investigating that case.
Yes, ma'am.
And talk to you, and you can get some cash money. You really can. And you know what? Valentine's is coming up. You might
That's
want
right.
to
You
buy
got
Valentine's
5 days.
Yeah, really. So hurry up. Okay, your next case.
The next one is one that's near and dear to my heart. I talk about it probably every time I come on this show, and that's Stephen McGray. This gentleman, on January 5th of 2020, he was last seen at his residence. That's the last time he's ever been seen. We have looked him. We've spent probably hundreds of man hours looking for Mr. McGray. The day he went missing, we were able to determine that a credit card of his was used. We were able to find out who used that credit card, and we did make an arrest in the credit card theft. We still have not found his body. It has not been found at this time, and I just beg anybody. It happened off of Robertson School Road. He was known to walk from his house on Robertson School Road to the store in Princeville. If anybody saw anything or knows anything, we need to find his body first and foremost, because we're looking at, as a matter of fact, it's been 3 years and a month and 5 days now. At this point, I will have no reason to believe that he is not deceased.
You know, Lieutenant, without, and JP and I talk about this, without a body, it is so difficult
Correct.
to pin anything on anybody.
Right, because what happens in 5 years, something comes back and he could have been in a hospital in a coma somewhere for 5 years and nobody knew his name. And, you know, you got a lot of stuff you got to look at, because people ask me all the time, well, just charge him with murder. Well, you can't, because you don't have a body, you don't have anything to determine that a murder has taken place. What if the subject died by natural causes and they just concealed a death?
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at all the avenues. You don't want to just charge somebody for murder and they didn't kill nobody.
Right.
I don't want to put somebody in prison that didn't do it.
You can't assume.
Correct.
You gotta have the body, and it just bewilders me that you can't. Some of these cases, you're like, where is the body? We have spent hours, like you said,
Hundreds of hours,
hundreds
man
of
hours.
hours, and where is the body? I mean, it's somewhere. So, and I'm sure y'all have used dogs and.
We've used helicopters, we've used dogs, we've been on four-wheelers, we've had sonar come in to check bodies of water that are around that area. We've had dive teams in the water, and we just can't find them.
Right. And the longer a case goes, it just gets a little colder and a little
Correct.
colder. I mean, if you can the quicker you can solve a case. So, folks, as soon as you know something, you need to say something. If you know something, say something.
They always say the first 48 hours are critical, and that's true.
That's true.
That is the God honest truth. After 2 or 3 days, it just keeps getting colder.
Mm-hmm.
And then people forget, people don't want to talk, people don't remember. You know, that's the biggest issue. Time makes people forget.
Right.
They don't pay attention to it anymore. It's not in the news. It's not being talked about. So people just forget it.
It's not in the forefront of people's minds
Correct.
as time goes on.
Correct.
Anyway, if you know anything about the Stephen McGray case, we have talked about it on here so much. I certainly wish an arrest could be made in all cases.
Yes, ma'am.
That would be nice, but I really wish. 63 years old then, so I guess now he's about 66. Yeah, 66 years old. White male, brown gray hair, blue eyes. Approximately 5'6", and
He had a brain injury too, so he had some scars on his skull area
okay,
that would be prominent if he is to be found.
right, okay,
So that's a good thing for us. If another law enforcement agency finds it, they can say, hey, you know, reach out to other law enforcement and say, hey, this gentleman's found, or this body was found. There's injuries to his skull. We can say, hey, we got a victim like that that's missing.
exactly.
You know, the biggest thing is the family. They want closure.
Yeah.
Everybody wants closures for their loved ones. You want to
Yes.
know what happened to them. You want to be able to put them and bury them in peace if that's what's happened. If they are deceased, you want to put them and bury them. You don't want to know where they're at and think every night, well, where is my son? Where's my dad?
I mean, for anybody that has not gone through that, it's got to be torture. It really does have to be torture for the families, and like you said, when they lay their heads down at night, that's tough.
Correct.
Not knowing. The not knowing is just tough. And this is not a prepared case to talk about today, but still under investigation is your case in Pine Tops where the party,
That's the double homicide we had. Yes,
the double
ma'am.
homicide, and that was
That is still-
drive-by, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am. That is, if I'm not mistaken, that's 2 or 3 years old too.
Mm-hmm. And
And
that's
that
still under investigation.
correct.
It's still cold.
And it's still cold. We get tips. We probably get tips once a month on that one, but we follow up with them, and it's just can't prove anything.
Yeah. And you know what? It's got to be beyond a shadow of a doubt. I mean, it's just unfortunate that we can't, and we can't just assume. It just
Right.
And
has
how many
to be.
people were there?
There was probably when we. I'm gonna answer this honestly. When we got there was probably 10. Before we got there's no telling how many were really there.
So there was possibly 50 to 100 that witnessed it,
Correct.
and
And
Nobody
they
talks.
scattered.
And they scatter. That's, when them bullets start flying, people gonna start running.
Yeah.
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 And then when blue lights start showing up on scene, people don't want to talk to us. That's the biggest thing we run into. People don't want to talk. They don't want to be assumed that they're a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
They
So-
don't want to cooperate until it's their friend or their family or their loved one,
And
and
then
then
they-
they want to question why nobody else wants to,
Correct.
come. Yeah.
And that's what we stress. Just come forward. If you know something, say something. I know that's a cliche saying, but it's true.
It's true.
There's nothing truer than that statement.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's one little fabric of evidence probably in every case in this book. It's this close that could bring closure to every case in here.
And the sad part is, in the ones I just talked about, in the most of our cold cases, there's witnesses that won't talk to us.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
I mean, there's
a lot
actually-
of people are
I know there's
afraid.
witnesses.
They're scared.
Correct.
But you've got to realize, folks, it is anonymous, and it is your duty, if you know something, to say something. And, it is anonymous.
And I think
So-
you're right. That's what people are scared of, that
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have to come into court. You just give us a piece of information that I can follow up on and do my own investigation and determine, okay, what they're saying is true. I don't need to use this person.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, anyway, thank you, Lieutenant, for coming
Yes,
this
ma'am.
morning
I
and talking
appreciate you
about these
having me.
cases. We certainly do hope that we'll get some tips on these. We do put these, folks, you can let your friends know if they can't watch in the mornings. Of course, we play this again on Friday nights at 7, and throughout the week we also play it. And it's on YouTube. So send your friends to YouTube. Hey, check YouTube. Don't you know something about this case?
Right.
Go on YouTube and look at it. So please do that. So, and we have a billboard now. So,
Yes,
as we
on
said.
301.
Yes, we do. It's right in front of the mall. So if you feel like you want to go by and check out a case, go right
We also
on.
have a fundraiser coming up, too, that they can come to and help.
Absolutely, we
Can't
sure do.
forget that. It's coming up
Thank
in
you.
end of April, correct?
End of April.
Do
We
y'all
will be
have
giving
hard
you
dates on that
dates.
yet?
I think we're trying to finalize.
Correct.
It's the last week in April,
The
I
last
believe.
Saturday, correct?
Saturday. It'll be
Yes,
on a
ma'am.
Saturday. And it's going. We do know it's going to be at Rocky Mountain Mills again one more time.
Yes.
So we do have great participation too, don't
Very.
we?
Yes, we do. The citizens come out, and that's what we need. Just to come out. And that's a good spot to come out and talk to the investigators. Not just me, but there's every other investigator that is on Team Cold Case. You talk to us in person, say, hey, I know some information. I'm not going to tell you my name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know your name. I
Right.
just need to know your information.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. And if you feel like you would like to donate, you can always give us a call. You can call me at the station, 446-8857, or you can always call, you can call the 406-6736. Kat she'll take your donation too.
Correct.
So please, if you'd like to donate, because you see where the monies go. And all of the money goes to this. I mean, we're board members that do not get paid.
No.
We do this we feel like we want to be involved because it's the right thing to do. We're trying to bring closure to families, trying to get people off the street, and that's all it's about.
And we're the voice for the victims because they don't have a voice. They can't talk anymore. We are the ones that talk for them.
Well, you just spoke a mouthful then, because
Yeah.
that is so true. So true. Yes. Well, thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Yes, and we'll
Appreciate
see
it.
you
It's good to see you, and congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
Lincoln
Yes.
Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll see you the second week in March.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll be right back.
Make any day special by coming into Ribeye Steakhouse in Nashville. Come on in and enjoy our legendary tender and juicy Omaha Angus ribeyes. And try and share our seafood entrees, your choice of shrimp, flounder, or oysters. And especially don't forget our famous salad bar with all your favorite fixins. If you want to give that someone special something to revel in, Ribeye's gift certificates can be made to order. And as you're looking for somewhere to host a business meeting or special event, you can reserve the Angus Room. Ribeye Steakhouse of Nashville, over 10 years of great food.
February is American Heart Month, a time dedicated to spreading awareness of cardiovascular disease, which includes heart disease and stroke. It is the leading global cause of death, with more than 17 million deaths each year, and is expected to rise to more than 23 million by 2030. In the U.S., about 1 in 4 deaths is attributed to heart disease. So, let's have a heart-to-heart. Early action is important for heart attacks, increasing chances of survival. Don't discount major warning signs and symptoms. Chest pain or discomfort, upper body pain or discomfort in the arms, back, neck, jaw, or upper stomach, shortness of breath, nausea, lightheadedness, or cold sweats. Heart disease knows no boundaries and is prevalent in all ethnic groups. Know the risk factors, medical conditions, and lifestyle choices that put people at higher risk. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, diabetes, overweight and obesity, poor diet, physical inactivity, excessive alcohol use, and potentially gum disease. WHIG-TV encourages you to have a heart-to-heart talk about cardiovascular disease with your doctor and take steps to lower your risk of heart disease.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service, we offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family, and we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
What is the Davis Furniture difference? The difference is we buy with you in mind. For generations, we have listened to our customers. We can help you find the look you want for every room in your house. Quality, style, color, and of course service. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Davis Furniture, the family business where we treat you like family. Let us help you make your house a home. Davis Furniture, historical downtown Rocky Mount, on the corner of Hill and Main.
Stone Park Child Care is looking for qualified applicants who love children to join their child care team and shape the lives of tomorrow. Applicants must be at least 18 years or older, must have a high school diploma or equivalent, but the most important qualification is love for children. This job can be a lot of fun, and all it takes is enjoying planning and playing with our children. Join our family today. Apply in person at either location, 513 Old Mill Road or 1261 South Winstead Avenue. For any questions, call Anissa at 252-937-8851.
Get ready. The Zuzu African Acrobats are coming to the Cahin Auditorium at Edgecombe Community College Saturday, February 11th. This interactive show exhibits human pyramids, dish spinning, stick balance, unicycling, juggling, as well as comedy. The Zuzu African Acrobats are an enlightening experience truly representative of coastal Tanzania. Great for all ages. Bring the kids and grandkids. Saturday, February 11th, 4 p.m. Adult tickets $25, students $10. Get your tickets online at edgecombe.edu or by calling the box office. Sal's Pizza, an Italian night out. Taste pizza fresh from the oven. Delicious Italian dishes made from fresh ingredients with savory sauces and textures that envelop the taste buds, satisfying with every bite. You won't leave Sal's Pizza hungry.
Best pizza in town, bar none. Love it. It's authentic. It's good stuff.
This is over the top. Sal's probably has the best pizza I've ever tasted.
If you want a dine-in authentic place to eat gourmet Italian cuisine, come to Sal's Pizza, home of a local secret, the Grandma Pizza, famous for its authentic taste. For the finest, most delicious dishes, this is the place. 2820 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount. Ask about Sal's Pizza catering your special events.
Promise you, the freshest ingredient in the market.
Did you get engaged over the Christmas holidays? Congratulations! The next big step is choosing your venue. Smith's Pavilion of Dorches is a premium wedding venue that includes a ceremony site, bandstand, indoor and outdoor reception area. Their newest additions are a bridal suite and groom's room. They also have an in-house chef to meet your culinary needs. Most importantly, you get the Smith's team of experts to turn your vision into your real-life dream wedding. Smith's Pavilion of Dorches, where we celebrate life's greatest events.
Okay, welcome back. Well, I enjoyed that
I did
with
too.
Lieutenant Tender. That was good to learn
Great
about.
seeing him.
Well, to refresh, we've already heard these cases, but we have to refresh everybody's mind and, you know, get this in the forefront again. And just want to keep these cases in the forefront, y'all, because I know somebody's going to come forth. I know they are. But we want to do a hot and now right now instead of cold cases. We started doing a couple at the beginning of the show of hot nows, and everybody's talking about the 8-year-old case that was murdered. And you know, I'd heard at first beaten to death, and I mean beaten bad. Well, Sheriff's Department reiterates that, and you realize how bad it was. So I'd rather hear from the Sheriff's Department than for me to sit here and talk about it. I'd rather let everybody see it firsthand. So we're going to show you that press conference right now of the 8-year-old. And bear in mind, this lady, this grandmother, put this child in the car, deceased, and drove it to the hospital herself. Okay, take a look.
Captain Bowen with the Nash County Sheriff's Office, and this is Captain Jeff Sherrard, also with the Nash County Sheriff's Office, and we're here today to talk about 2 events that occurred on Tuesday, February 7th in Nash County. The first one we'll talk about, there was a grandmother that was arrested for first-degree murder. On Tuesday, the 7th of February at 3:21 p.m., Nash County Communications received a call that a juvenile was being transported to the hospital by a grandmother and that they would not be stopping for EMS. Shortly after the call, Nash County Sheriff's Office was notified that the juvenile was brought into the emergency room at Nash General Hospital with severe injuries and was deceased upon arrival. The Nash County Sheriff's Office investigators responded immediately to the hospital to further investigate. Upon investigation, it was determined that the child lived in the 5000 block of Dutchman Road. Nash County investigators immediately responded to that area to check on the welfare of anyone else at that residence. 5 children and 1 adult were located and secured. Through continued investigation, it was determined that the 8-year-old juvenile was beaten so severely that she died as a result of her injuries. The child had injuries throughout her entire body and head. Further investigation revealed that the grandmother was a prime suspect in the incident. The children were taken into custody by DSS and were taken to Nash for further evaluation. The grandmother was determined to be the guardian of all 5 children, including the deceased 8-year-old. The grandmother was later brought to the Nash County Sheriff's Office for questioning, and through additional investigation was charged with first-degree murder, felony child abuse with serious injury. She was placed into the Nash County Detention Center with no bond, and her first appearance date is February the 9th in Nash County District Court. This incident is still under investigation, as we are still trying to determine a motive. So at this time, we'll take any questions you may have about the first incident involving the Dutchman Road murder.
So were any weapons used?
We have found some of those, but we're not currently going to release that at this time. Some weapons or items were used as weapons at the residence.
And how did the grandmother take custody of the 5 children?
They're in her custody.
But how did, I mean, are the parents not in the picture? What led to the grandmother taking custody of them?
She has legal guardian of the children. The parents do not have guardianship.
Are the parents still living?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the assault happen in the house?
Yes, sir.
Were there witnesses?
There were other children that we believe were at the house. Yes, sir.
When this happened?
Yes, sir.
Inside the house?
Yes, sir.
Were there any security cameras outside or inside the house? And would any video have shed any light on this?
Not that we've determined any video cameras, no, sir.
Can we get the name of the 8-year-old victim?
No. We're not releasing that at this time, no, sir.
Have Nash County Sheriff's Department ever been to that house before for any kind of situations, or is this the first time you guys ever been there?
Captain Sherrard, do you know the answer to that? I don't believe that they have, no, sir.
There is a referral from DSS at that residence at this time.
How many referrals from?
Just one that we are aware of.
And that was the question. So had DSS ever had a substantiated or unsubstantiated?
That was still under investigation.
So it was, so prior to the killing, there was an open investigation?
Yes,
into
open allegation, not an investigation.
Allegation of what? Of abuse?
Maybe, possibly, yes, ma'am.
Possibly, or I just want to make sure I get it accurate.
There's a referral to determine if there was abuse in the home.
Do you know who the complainant was?
No, I don't.
When was that allegation made?
Through DSS.
Well, like when? Was it 6 months ago? Was
No,
it
within a month.
Was the complaint against the grandmother?
Yes.
Was the other adult the grandfather? The other adult that was found at the house?
No.
Who brought the child to the hospital? Who alerted the sheriff's department?
The grandmother drove the deceased juvenile to the hospital, and we were notified originally through Nash Communications that it was through a juvenile that was still at the residence. Does that make sense? So a juvenile from Dutchman Road calls that their grandmother was on the way to the hospital and that they would not be stopping for EMS.
Should they call 911?
Yes, ma'am.
Has there been an indication of why the beating occurred?
No, that's what we're still trying to determine a motive.
Have y'all determined whether the victim had any previous injuries resulting in before this incident, like a previous child abuse?
That part is still under investigation.
Okay, and then what about the other children? Were they checked out, or
They were later carried to UNC Nash here in Rocky Mount and later released into the care of, not custody, but into the care of the Department of Social Services.
They didn't have any injuries?
That's still under investigation.
It's still under investigation.
But they were treated and released.
Is an autopsy going to be performed on the child?
Yes.
Do y'all have an estimation when and who will do the autopsy?
ECU will do it, and we're hoping that since it's an 8-year-old child, we get put to the front of the list.
Is it going to be at the Regional Medical Center in Greenville, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
At the Brody School of Medicine, where
Yes,
they
sir.
usually do it?
That's
Have they done the autopsy yet?
If they have, I don't know if they have it this time or not, but we were hoping that they could do it today.
And would you get a preliminary finding?
We should.
How many children were killed at the hands of somebody else in Nash County since January 2022?
I don't have the answer to that, but if you will give me your name when this is over, we'll see if we can find that out and give that answer to you.
So I'll make sure. Who alerted the sheriff's department about the child?
So the original call came from a juvenile at the residence on Dutchman Road that their grandmother was en route to the hospital.
That would carry some weight now.
Yeah, and so one of the kids called the sheriff's department and said, my grandmother's taken this child to the emergency room.
And I'm sure that 911 operator was like trying to get as much information from that child as possible. What happened?
Yes.
Who did what? What did you see?
Yes.
And that child probably answered any and every question that was asked.
Probably so. But what I don't understand, there was another adult in the house, and I have texted the sheriff's department this morning. They're not able to say right now because it is under investigation, but they said this adult is not involved. But why did the adult not call the sheriff?
I want to know that too.
Why did they let the kid call the sheriff? I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, it looks like to me, and we don't know the adult. I mean, they might be an adult that cannot make a phone call.
Right.
But I'm sure they got a lot of the information that they needed to use in pressing charges from this child that called 911.
Yes.
They were probably able to put a lot of pieces of this puzzle together from that 911 call.
Probably. Well, it goes back, excuse me, she's, I believe I said she was above 70 years old from the date of birth. 5 kids in custody. What is wrong with that picture? And it doesn't excuse anything.
No,
I'm not giving no excuses. No excuse. But it's just society and the way
It's
it is
a norm.
today.
Yeah.
You know, grandma has the kids, 5 of them, and in her 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Please. So, anyway, we'll find out more about this case as time goes on. She's not talking, as you said. She's not
From what I
talking.
understand, she's not saying anything.
No statement was made by her. So, anyway, her name was Patricia Ricks, in case you didn't know. So, anyway, then there was a hot now that JP sent me. Lee, did you happen to get the picture?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Okay. We're going to go to weather break right now anyway. It's time for that, and we'll be right back, and hopefully we can show you a picture of something JP sent me this morning that happened in Roanoke Rapids. So we'll be right back.
Stone Park Child Care is looking for qualified applicants who love children to join their child care team and shape the lives of tomorrow. Applicants must be at least 18 years or older, must have a high school diploma or equivalent, but the most important qualification is love for children. This job can be a lot of fun, and all it takes is enjoying planning and playing with our children. Join our family today. Apply in person at either location, 513 Old Mill Road or 1261 South Winstead Avenue. For any questions, call Anissa at 252-937-8851.
Get ready. The Zuzu African Acrobats are coming to the Cahin Auditorium at Edgecombe Community College Saturday, February 11th. This interactive show exhibits human pyramids, dish spinning, stick balance, unicycling, juggling, as well as comedy. The Zuzu African Acrobats are an enlightening experience truly representative of coastal Tanzania. Great for all ages. Bring the kids and grandkids. Saturday, February 11th, 4 p.m. Adult tickets $25, students $10. Get your tickets online at edgecombe.edu or by calling the box office. Sal's Pizza, an Italian night out. Taste pizza fresh from the oven. Delicious Italian dishes made from fresh ingredients with savory sauces and textures that envelop the taste buds, satisfying with every bite. You won't leave Sal's Pizza hungry.
Best pizza in town, bar none. Love it. It's authentic. It's good stuff.
This is over the top. Sal's probably has the best pizza I've ever tasted.
If you want a dine-in authentic place to eat gourmet Italian cuisine, come to Sal's Pizza, home of a local secret, the Grandma Pizza, famous for its authentic taste. For the finest, most delicious dishes, this is the place. 2820 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount. Ask about Sal's Pizza catering your special events.
Promise you, the freshest ingredient in the market.
Did you get engaged over the Christmas holidays? Congratulations! The next big step is choosing your venue. Smith's Pavilion of Dorches is a premium wedding venue that includes a ceremony site, bandstand, indoor and outdoor reception area. Their newest additions are a bridal suite and groom's room. They also have an in-house chef to meet your culinary needs. Most importantly, you get the Smith's team of experts to turn your vision into your real-life dream wedding. Smith's Pavilion of Dorches, where we celebrate life's greatest events.
The tank is on E, and your low tire pressure light is glaring at you again. You do not have time to wait in line and pay to put air in the tires, and you certainly don't want to get out of the car in the cold and pump gas. What if you could pull up to a gas pump and have an attendant run out to greet you to pump your gas, clean your windshield, and put air in the tire, all for no extra charge, while you step inside and enjoy a made-to-order breakfast or lunch? Does that kind of full service exist anymore? It does, at JD's Grocery and Grill, a service station created to bring back the full service experience to all customers. JD's Grocery and Grill is a full service gas station. Eat in restaurant with tasty made-to-order food and a grocery store all in one. The staff at JD's Grocery and Grill is ready to field all requests and will help you find anything you need. Call them today at 252-972-5000 or stop on by at 1240 Atlantic Avenue. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Grill hours, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. JD's Grill and Grocery, at the heart of great food.
Okay, and welcome back. We also, as I said, JP sent us a case this morning that was from Roanoke Rapids, and apparently a car was stopped. Is that right? You want to read it, JP? I'll let you do that, and then we'll kind of see the picture.
Okay. All right. Let me get my phone here to cooperate. It says on February 7th, 2023, at approximately 12:30, this was 12:30 p.m. Officer E. Ellington attempted to stop a vehicle in the area of West 4th Street and Henry Street. Upon activating his blue lights and siren, the vehicle was attempting to stop. It accelerated to get away from the officer. Upon accelerating to catch up with the vehicle, the officer lost control of his patrol car, crossing the train tracks at West 4th Street. The patrol vehicle went through a field, landed in a ditch, causing significant damage to the patrol car and injuring the officer. The officer sustained minor cuts, abrasions as a result of the crash, but the good news is he's doing well. The vehicle that he was in pursuit of is described as an orange in color Dodge Challenger with a black spoiler. The Roanoke Rapids Police Department asked anyone with information regarding this incident to call the police department at 252-533-2810 or the Halifax County Crime Stoppers at 252-583-4444, and this case is still under investigation at this time. The good news is the officer's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Let us see the picture, Lee. This is the patrol car, and the looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
He's trying to bring up the picture now. But yeah, he went into a field, hit a ditch.
Yeah. The patrol car appears to be a total loss, looking at this photo. It looks like it's rolled, but I don't know.
The side of it looked pretty. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a really good
lucky
glimpse of the patrol car right there on the side.
Yeah. I'm just glad he's okay.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, thank you, Lee. So all these things are hot now, and I think you'll enjoy knowing, what's going on currently in your community. And I feel like we've done our duty this morning with the lieutenant coming. We talked about 3 cases, but we can go to the book if you want to. JP will talk about another case also. And by the way, the case we just talked about, if anybody knows anything, saw anything, because that person got away, please call the numbers on the screen. Let's see, what case do we
Seems like we talked about Alma Ruth Atkinson last week.
I think so.
We had started over. I do not believe we discussed Robert Earl Demery.
Okay.
Robert Earl Demery, this is an older case, kind of going back. It's from September 22nd, 1977. 16-year-old Robert Demery was found shot in the parking lot of London Mills on the 500 block of Paul Street in Rocky Mount. He had just returned home that night from out of state and was last seen getting off the bus at the Rocky Mount Trailways bus depot on South Washington Street. A dark colored car was seen leaving the London Mills parking lot. And that's kind of an older case, and it's kind of limited details that we have for that.
If you remember anything, it was from September 77, so he was 16 at the time, found shot in the parking lot at London Mills. He was seen getting off the bus, so we know he got off the bus.
Right.
And went straight to London Mills. He must have lived in that vicinity. Probably lived in that vicinity and just found shot to death. So, and evidently they don't have that many clues. So if you know anything, please call one of the numbers on the screen. Okay.
Hugh B. Phillips, this case is from January 28, 1984. Hugh Phillips was walking on Northeast Main Street in the Douglas block of Rocky Mount when an unknown male suspect physically assaulted and robbed him. Phillips died a few days later of his injuries. This is an older case, again from January 1984, limited information, unsolved. So basically he was beat to death, and he died several days later.
Right there on the Douglas block, where the event center is now, right there, 1984. So he was robbed and killed, and they never did catch the person. So if you know anything.
And these families have been wanting some type of closure for years. I mean, you're talking about 40 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then they will say in their home to somebody, to their family, I wonder what in the world happened to my loved one.
Who did
what
this?
happened?
Yeah.
Who did this to them? So anyway, the next one is Susan Sharon Clary.
Yeah, this one has I've actually seen this discussed online on truecrimefiles.com.
Really?
I have. This case is from May 16th, 1983. There's a lot of oddities in this. Susan Sharon Clary. She was 20 years old and pregnant and was found dead in her bed midday nude with 2 unfired guns nearby. An autopsy determined that the cause of death was asphyxiation, secondary to strangulation. Clary was found dead in her own bed by her father after she didn't show up for work. A bra was wrapped around her nude body, but it wasn't used to kill her, and she had not been sexually assaulted, according to investigators. Her temple was bruised. There were 2 guns placed on top of the dresser, and previous to that, they had been hidden. Neither had been fired. The bed had been moved out of its original place. A footstool, a rather large one, was moved out of place as well. Additionally, there was a guard dog. The dog was known to be excessively loud and aggressive if anything out of the ordinary was occurring.
Wow.
The dog hadn't barked that morning. Her mother, Maurice Sharon, worked in an insurance office and was expecting to see her daughter at an appointment with a realtor who also worked in the office. When she missed her appointment, her parents called her job and they were told that she didn't show up for work that morning. Susan Sharon Clary had already named her baby Chad Ray Clary, and he lies beside his mother in her final resting place.
Goodness gracious.
This is
that
a
is
Weldon,
so
North
strange.
Carolina case.
That is really, the dog, the dog never, no indication of him barking or, being aggressive to the person or anything?
And then that means, or it could mean that the dog recognized.
Yeah, somebody the dog's used to.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This,
Okay.
again, this is an online case. You can go to thetruecrimefiles.com, and they've got a lot more information about this case. I've actually made some notes here, and one that stood out to me was, it says that investigators actually believe that the crime scene had been purposely staged as they found it. So whoever perpetrated this crime took the time to stage it as
Where's
to how
the
they
husband?
wanted it.
It doesn't say anything about a husband.
When you read it online, the case that I read, it actually paints a picture to implicate
Well, that's my first thought.
Yeah.
That's definitely my first thought because of the dog, because the way the
He would
crime
know where to-
scene was.
He would know where the guns are kept.
Yeah.
He would,
But why two guns there that had not been fired?
to give the illusion that apparently she was afraid. She was, because if they were found in the bed with her, stop and think, if I'm getting in the bed and I'm going to have two guns with me, that's odd, it's out of the ordinary. There's a reason, I'm scared.
Yeah.
But
really, this is an odd case. And it's really odd that they have not been able to solve it since 1983. Wow.
this is a perfect example of what you were saying earlier with Tinder, and that is, after the first initial 48 hours of any case,
Yeah.
as time progresses, memories become less sharp, witnesses get fewer and fewer. It's hard to work a case. It's hard.
And, she was pregnant, so that makes you wonder about the husband, how he felt about that.
Yeah.
It just all is a little bit, I may ask some questions about this case. This would be, whose case would this be?
It's Weldon.
Weldon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's not
said
in the
Weldon.
article, but it is online. It says it's a Weldon, North Carolina case.
Okay.
I do want to take a quick moment, if you don't mind. The Friends of the NRA in Nash County is having a banquet. Their annual banquet's coming up. They usually do an auction, give away a lot of great door prizes, give away a lot of guns. As a matter of fact, I've already got a call. I purchased tickets, and apparently I've already won a gun, and I've got to go pick it up. But they're going
Really?
to have a lot of door prizes that night. It's going to be out at Nash Community College, February 23rd, 6 o'clock p.m. Tickets are still available. If you want tickets, call Christopher Wheaton, 252-557-7408. Again, if you want tickets, Christopher Wheaton, 252-557-7408. A meal is catered. It's always really good food, a lot of food. Get to see a lot of people you hadn't seen in a while. I love going for the auction.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of nice gifts that
I
are
love to go
donated.
to events that have auctions. I've always liked to do that. So February 23rd,
Mhm.
7 o'clock,
Mhm.
National Community College, Brown Auditorium.
Hope to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want tickets, he gave you the number twice, so hopefully you'll call, or you can always get in touch with us and we can hook you up somehow. So anyway, that's all, JP, for today. We had a lively show today.
We
had
did.
busy. We were busy today. So that's what we do here on the K-Files, trying to get closure for families and get people off the street. So sorry about that. So anyway, we'll see you next Thursday on the K-Files.
See ya.